Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new Wonder Woman 3 video and new Superman movie video. Patty Jenkins was talking about Wonder Woman 3 recently, revealing a bunch of details for their plans for the Wonder Woman character in the future, as well as Wonder Woman spin-off movies that they're currently making, and we found out about new Superman movies that Warner Brothers is planning. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're doing an Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with Wonder Woman 3 in the next Superman movie. So we'll just go down the list here, starting with number 5. Patty Jenkins in the Wonder Woman cast lately have been hyping up the Wonder Woman 1984 movie since it's been delayed to August. Currently, that's still the case. We're still going to be able to see it in August. Right now, in terms of the virus shutting down movie theaters, Christopher Nolan, Mr. Dark Knight Batman himself, has a movie coming out in June, Tenet, and is adamant that that's going to be the first big blockbuster level movie to reopen theaters across the country, maybe around other parts of the world too. Just because of all this virus stuff that's going on in the quarantines, people are just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen this summer. But while all these interviews have been happening, Patty Jenkins has revealed her and Warner Brothers' plans for the Wonder Woman 3 movie and the Wonder Woman spin-off movies. I'll talk about the spin-off movies in a second. This is mostly going to be about Wonder Woman 3. Right now their plan is they're releasing Wonder Woman 1984, then they're going to release the spin-off movie about the Amazons, then they'll do Wonder Woman 3. Number 4, but Patty Jenkins said her plan for the story of Wonder Woman 3 is that it's meant to be a continuation of the theme of the Wonder Woman movies so far, and that because she's so long-lived, she's seen all this world history, all these major events, Wonder Woman 3 is going to move the timeline forward into present day. So that when you look at all of her movies in her eventual trilogy, you have the first movie, her origin story in the distant past, then Wonder Woman 1984 with her in the nostalgic past of the 80s with a lot of comedy, and then eventually Wonder Woman 3 set in present day. The way Patty Jenkins talked about it, she said no more Wonder Woman solo movies set in the past, although that doesn't include the spin-off movies. The movie that they're making based on the Amazonians sounds like it will be set in the past. She said part of the reason for moving Wonder Woman 3 into present day is just because doing movies set in the past for her is kind of played out, and setting the movie in present day provides some more opportunities to build on the shared storytelling of other DC movies. A good example is the New Gods movie that they're getting ready to do. Everyone knows about that. It'd be amazing to see them try to use someone like Grail in Wonder Woman 3 because she's basically evil Wonder Woman on Team Darkseid. There've been a lot of timeline and continuity changes with the way DC's handling all of its big movies, like you have the Joker movies and that DC Black Label with Joaquin Phoenix that technically aren't connected to the other DC movies, but then you have some DC movies that are connected, like Birds of Prey is connected to Suicide Squad, is connected to the Justice League movies, Aquaman, Batman v Superman, the first Wonder Woman movie. Even the Shazam movies are still connected to the Justice League movies and those characters, at least the ones that are still around, not including Ben Affleck because he's not playing Batman anymore. Don't worry, when we get new DC movies like The Batman, I'll explain how it fits into the larger DC continuity plan. And speaking of Justice League 2, this is actually Patty Jenkins talking about Warner Brothers' general plans for the next Justice League movie. It's about what you would expect.
You have to go forward. So it's definitely a contemporary story. That's all I can say. And so where we put it and how that gets figured out, I haven't totally nailed down.
Now, obviously, Wonder Woman had huge success, and most recently Aquaman.
Yeah.
James Wan. I'm curious because it kind of makes sense that for you or him to direct a Justice League movie. Does that interest you at all?
You know, the Justice League movie, I find those movies to be extremely challenging. I think they're fantastic when they're well done. But taking on all of those characters at the same time in the timeline, I sort of hope that we don't do a Justice League movie for a little while because I think that each of those characters are really great and I'm super excited to see each of their movies. And then I want to see Aquaman too, and I want to see Flash, and I want to, so I don't know. You never know. I would never say never, but I think that I think everybody should have a moment to shine.
But talking about more shared universe, number 3, Wonder Woman 3 Justice League crossover, Thor Ragnarok style. Think of it that way. Best example we have right now until DC does it with their characters. Mini Justice League movie with a big crossover team up. Patty Jenkins didn't say which character or characters multiple they'd try to cameo in Wonder Woman 3, but it would be other returning Justice League actors like Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Henry Cavill's Superman. There was actually some news about a new Man of Steel movie recently, which I'll mention in a second. Ezra Miller's Flash is still around, Cyborg is still around. Ben Affleck is really the only one that said that he's not coming back. But Robert Pattinson's Batman movie is kind of set in the past. It's not really intended to be a prequel to Ben Affleck's Batman movie. It's supposed to create its own little microcosm of continuity, and then maybe later, if things work out, they'll cross Robert Pattinson's Batman over with other Justice League actors. But all the actors in all these movies have talked about crossing over with each other. Zachary Levi said that they're trying to get Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman to cameo in future Shazam movies. Obviously, we want to see Superman cross over into the other movies. They tried to do it with the first Shazam movie, but there were some scheduling issues that prevented them from actually using Henry Cavill, even though this is meant to be Henry Cavill's Superman in this post-credit scene. But number 2, if we're talking about Wonder Woman 3 picking the most appropriate characters to cross over, Superman and Aquaman tonally would probably make the most sense. And even though I love to see Superman, or Henry Cavill's Superman, cross over with Wonder Woman, but I actually think that Jason Momoa's Aquaman would make for a better pairing just in terms of how his personality as that character and Wonder Woman's personality work together. And Jason Momoa himself even said that as they're getting ready for Aquaman 2, he really wants Wonder Woman to cross over into Aquaman 2. So even on the other side of that, he's working on getting that to happen too.
Oof. You're gorgeous. I never really embraced the sea or the land.
I think that was beautiful.
They just have this funny dynamic the same way that Hulk and Thor's relationship is. Wonder Woman is kind of like DC's version of Thor, the way they use her, with her godly powers, the pantheon of mythology behind her. Aquaman isn't exactly like the Hulk, but he's got that same crazy brute force energy about him, and the pairing would just make for a more comedic duo. Thinking more about Superman crossover, I think he's almost too similar in tone to Wonder Woman, which is part of the reason why it always felt weird when DC Comics tried to make them a thing during the New 52 comics, if anybody remembers that. When it comes to that first Wonder Woman spin-off movie though, the movie about the Amazons, it sounds like that's going to be more about Hippolyta and Robin Wright Penn's character and the other Amazons with a little bit of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in it, but she won't be the main character of that movie. It'll be all about the other Amazon characters. If you remember the scene at the beginning of the first Wonder Woman movie where they're explaining their mythology, how they were created by Zeus to help mankind, but then mankind kind of turned on them and there was this big war, they'll probably deal more with that backstory and the other major conflicts with people trying to take Themyscira from them over the years. Remember that epic battle scene during the Justice League movie, the big flashback with all the combined forces of planet Earth attacking Steppenwolf at once and the Amazons just going crazy? Picture something more like that too. But talking more about the future of Superman, number 1, you may have seen the news this past week that Warner Brothers has pivoted away from the Supergirl movie that they were reportedly working on in favor of doing another straight-up Superman Henry Cavill movie. None of the reports are calling it Man of Steel 2, they're just calling it another Superman project with Henry Cavill's Superman. There aren't really any details as to when we'd see this potential Superman movie. It would take them at least 3 years because they'd have to write a script and then it'd take them about 2 years to make it. We don't know anything about the plot or any potential villains they'd use or any potential crossover characters, so feel free to theorycraft about what kind of Superman movie you'd like to see them do with Henry Cavill now. But there are a couple solid slam dunks. Brainiac is right at the top of that list. If you're not going to recycle the same old Superman versus Lex Luthor type of story after Batman v Superman and Justice League, you need someone worse than Lex Luthor. There are a lot of good picks for that. Brainiac is just at the top of that mountain. There were even more recent DC Rebirth Superman stories where they positioned a version of Superman's father, Jor-El, as an antagonist, but that was more of a trick that they pulled in order to age up John Kent's Superboy so that they could use him as an adult in Legion of Superhero stories in the future, and I'm not expecting them to do any kind of super babies in the movies anytime soon. There was also an interview with Amy Adams recently, and she said that she wasn't sure what they were going to do with her version of Lois Lane. But they are doing a lot of Superboy stuff on the Superman TV show coming later this year. The next big DC animated movie is also going to be Superman Man of Tomorrow. So while they figure out Henry Cavill's Superman movie stuff, there is some Superman stuff going on to tide you over. But everyone, let me know in the comments, what do you want them to do with Wonder Woman 3, and what do you want them to do with the next Superman movie? There'll be a lot more Wonder Woman 1984 trailers and footage dropping this summer as we get ready for the actual movie to come out. Hopefully everything goes well with that. I just posted a huge Justice League Apocalypse War movie video. It was a great movie. Click here to watch that, and click here for my brand new Mandalorian Season 2 teaser video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.